I was watching the news before the State of the Union address, and they were showing that all the presidents always say, the State of the Union is strong. Well, I thought, the state of the city is strong. Uh, we have a fantastic team that's leading our city from all the employees. The city could not accomplish the things that we are doing if it wasn't for all of our employees. We employ a little over 100, is that right, Mac? A little over 100, and each one of them are very valuable to making our city work. You know, from trash collection, which I know some of you probably aren't real happy with us. We're looking to increase that fee, but it's something that we need to do. To making sure your water is safe. Yes, we are a Superfund site, but we are filtering and our water is safe to drink. To the wastewater plant and to the street department. Everybody is so valuable. Our fire and our police do a fantastic job. And thank you for being here this evening. We had a lot of projects going on in 23. And I'm going to try to just name a few real quick because, Rob, I want to get you to that Pacers game as soon as I can. You know, we've got a storm sewer that we're putting in down on Hacker Drive. This is an area of the city that was annexed in back in 2014. When you annex an area in, you need to supply utilities to them within 3 years. It had never been done. So we started working on that last year, and we're just about ready to finish that up. We have an area up on North Main Street that was brought into the city. We're hoping to let bids out on that here in the next few months and get that maybe accomplished yet this year. You know, we got Ohio Street finished. And, you know, Gary kept on kind of kidding, you know, Ohio Street, and everybody's going to be mad when we redo that because we're going to close it off at Poston Road. And he kept on saying, you know, it's going to take a lot longer than what they're anticipating. But they got it through. It was a bear to live through. But now you've got to admit, it's pretty nice coming up Ohio Street to Garfield to go through the roundabout, come over to Main Street, and come on into our downtown. Our downtown is doing so well. We have a lot of new restaurants that have come in. We've got a civic theater that we're hoping to have open by this time next year. We were hoping to have it open before Christmas. May not make it by then, but it'll be shortly after that. Our venue downtown. And again, Rob, thank you for bringing the acts in there, the concerts, the free concerts. And the key word is free concerts that we've had there. The park, they had many movie nights for us. So these are things that we need to showcase our city. I know we've got the eclipse coming in. And where's Ryan Taylor at? Is Ryan still in here? You know, your birthday's April the 8th. So that's why we kind of arranged to have this all on your birthday. So that's all, and if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. So, but we do. We have a lot of guests coming in for the eclipse. And by the way, Mac, do we have the box of glasses? Yes. So we have glasses back in the back that the city had received. If you would like to pick a pair up for the eclipse, please do so. We've got plenty. Everyone should be able to have a pair tonight. Or if you need to take a couple of pair, that shouldn't be a problem. But we're excited about the eclipse coming because we're going to be able to showcase our community. You know, then we look at the water and sewer that we pushed across up at 44 by Faith Church. Faith Church went ahead and voluntarily annexed into the city. So that's going to give us an area of growth for housing. We put a storm sewer and lift station over on Artesian Way. This is an area that we're hoping in the next 4 or 5 years could bring up to 600 homes to our community. Not only will that benefit the city, but it's going to benefit our school systems as well. So a lot of exciting things happening in the community. We've got a lot of things coming on this year. Thanks to Senator Pro Tem Rod Bray, we do have a grant of $23 million from the state that we're going to have to construct a new levee. That levee will, as you're going out the bypass towards 67, it's going to be on the left-hand side. And it's going to take 8,000, let's think about that again, 8,000 triaxle loads of clay to construct this levee. But once it's done, then we're going to work on the north side. So as you go out toward 67 on the right, you see the earthen levee. That's not certified right now. So we also worked a deal with the state that we're going to take ownership of it. We're going to maintain it from now on, but we've asked them to step forward with funding to make it certified. So that's another $5 million project. So we're hoping to get both of those done this year. And that way, we've got over 400 residents and over 70 businesses that are going to be faced to having to pay for flood insurance. So if we can get this done within a year, it'll be a short time period that they'll be having to pay, but they will have to pay for that. Another project that we're looking at is on Southview Drive. We'd like to construct a new park down there, and part of that park will be a skate park. Mac Porter has worked with Hunger Design in Bloomington. We've got a great design that we think will be very unique. V3 has helped us with some of the diagramming also. And this will be a park not only for the skate park, but also will have shelters and playground equipment that'll help serve that area of our city that's growing down on the south side. So a lot of fantastic things are happening with the community. Again, it's everybody that's involved in the city has helped get us where we are. And I appreciate everyone that's done that. So now, Jamin, you want to ask some questions?
All right. The first question. When will you name the venue?
That's a good question. We've batted back and forth different ideas. I know we need to do something within the next year because once you call it the venue another year or so, that's going to stick. So if anybody has a suggestion, email us, and we may pick what you want.
Okay. Next.
Not a very good answer, is it?
Next question. What are the...
Wait a second. The Costin venue.
I was thinking the Bobby Helms venue, but the Jingle Bell Rock venue. Okay, what are the city's plans for the eclipse?
We have been working on that for a little over a year, thanks to Mac Porter and working closely with Abby Worth with the EMS. We have several activities planned. Again, we're assuming that we may have anywhere from 15 to 20,000 visitors into our city over that weekend. It's kind of hard. When Mac first started talking about that, I thought, there's no way. But the more meetings we've gone to with other cities around us, what they're anticipating, this is going to happen because we're right on that line of total darkness. So we're anticipating people coming in maybe on Friday, Saturday morning. We've got a concert up at the venue that Saturday evening. On Sunday at the Ark Sanctuary, we've got some poetry. And if you notice, we've replaced our street banners this last week with some that was provided by the Poetry Society talking about the eclipse. It's got different verses or different poems about the eclipse, and it starts kind of at the library. And if you go north on Jefferson Street and read them in sequence, it's very interesting in what was provided to us. So we've got poetry then on Sunday. There's going to be some, I feel that air conditioner kicked on.
I didn't.
And then at the park, there's several activities going on up there also because, again, we're wanting to have, not doing things necessarily to have people come to Martinsville. We just want to have things that the guests have things to do. We're encouraging businesses to maybe stock up a little more on your food because, again, we're going to have a lot of people. I think one of the things Mac Porter spoke about last night at the council meeting was the state police is saying, if you're planning on going somewhere, go early and stay late. Now, here again, it's hard for me to comprehend this, but I know when the last eclipse came through, I think from Hopkinsville, Kentucky to Louisville was a 6-hour drive. That's normally about an hour and a half. So that's just the amount of traffic that we're going to be facing coming up 69, because once it's done in Evansville and people start letting out, they're going to filter up our way. We've made special places to have the police and fire stationed throughout the city. We've got golf carts for them for easy transportation throughout the crowd. So again, we've been planning for this for about a year, and we hope it doesn't rain. That could be put a damper on things. But we think we're as prepared as we can be.
This is a question about the Ohio Street project. You mentioned that earlier. Anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, it was nice to get that accomplished, and Gary did a fantastic job working with the state to get that done ahead of time, and it is nice. And you've got to agree that Garfield intersection, Ohio Street and Garfield, you had 6 different streets coming in there, and it flows so much better now.
I like it.
And food for reason you don't put more roundabouts in, that was $500,000 just for that roundabout.
So all this says is black signs. So I'm not sure if they're in favor of them and they want more, but I'm guessing it's the opposite.
Well, we are working on 2 major ordinances for the city. One is for signage. We are working with a company to give us some guidance. They work with other municipalities. We've got, we'll have a presentation from them here in the next couple of weeks. Then once we have that, we'll turn it over to the committee. That committee, then we will take it to the council, let the council look at it, and then we will have a town hall meeting to take input from citizens, because again, not everybody's going to like what we put in there, but we're just trying to clean some of the signage up around our community. The other one that's probably going to make citizens a little more frustrated is going to be a parking ordinance. The firemen, when they come through with those big red trucks, they sometimes can't get through when there's cars parked on both sides. So we're working with the same company, going through and trying to figure out, okay, if it's a north-south street, which side of the street does it make sense to park on if it's under certain dimensions? If it's wide enough, okay, yeah, we'll park on both sides. There are going to be some streets that are called leader streets that we will not allow parking on, such as Main Street. Some of the main arteries in the town, no matter how wide they are, we're not going to allow parking. So once we get that information from this company, again, we've got a committee. We're going to have a couple of firemen, a couple of the policemen, a couple of citizens go through and look at what's been mapped out. Then we're going to turn it over to the council, and we're going to task each council person, go to your district. If you're like Ann, you're at large, you're going to have to go through the host city and look and see if this makes sense. How's this going to work? How's it going to affect people in your community or in your district? Then, again, we'll have a couple of town hall meetings. We'll probably have a couple of those on this because it's going to affect everybody. And again, we're just trying to make it as safe as possible. As Martinsville grows, we're going to have some growing pains, and we're going to have to put some rules into effect, and it's not going to be easy. So we ask everybody to be patient with us as we work through this.
All right, this question is, when will Culver's open, and do you have any announcements on future restaurants?
Well, are we going there Saturday? Saturday is a soft opening for them. Their grand opening is March 18th, next Monday. They have put a lot of thought. They have hired 90 employees. The owner is very excited about how he's been received into Martinsville. So we think this is a good match for us. They are a lot like a Chick-fil-A as far as the atmosphere for their workers. They're very concerned about their workers. If you drive by and you see the kiosks out there for them to stand in, they care for their workers. They don't want their young people sitting out there and in rain and cold weather. So we're very excited to have them here. We have a few companies that I'm not at liberty to say right now, but one of the holdups will be getting some of the property released from the state. When the state came in to do 69, they bought a lot of additional property because they needed to have plenty of room. Now, once they finish, there's a pecking order of who has the right to buy the property back. And there's been several developers come in that are wanting to come to Martinsville. They see how valuable we are. You know, we're in a beautiful valley, and we're right in between Martinsville and Bloomington. And we've worked with IU, trying to entice some of the faculty from IU to come this way. We're also working with IU to, once the Civic Theater is open, maybe have some of the students from the School of Music come up and do some performances. So we're trying to bridge that gap the best we can. And if we can get some of their faculty to want to come up here, because again, is there anybody from Monroe County in here? Okay, Jeff, you don't count. You know, it's so much easier for people to get a house in Morgan County than it is Monroe County. They have to jump through so many hoops down there, so that's why we're attractive. And our price points are a lot better than what they have there.
So you said you couldn't say anything, but I read on Facebook that something called that might rhyme with Cracker Barrel might be coming. Anything you want to? No, I'm just kidding. I did read that, but
I've not heard that yet.
When is recycling going to be available in Martinsville again?
Okay, Mac Dunn and myself, Frank Lane, we did a lot of homework on our sanitation, because again, we had a public hearing last night, had a first reading on an ordinance to take our environmental recovery fee, fancy name for a trash fee, from $7.50 to $18. We need to have that to break even. We're losing about $42,000 a month on our trash. Now, we worked with 4 different companies and to see who could give us the best rate to haul from our transfer station. Mac was able to negotiate a 22% savings. We will start with Rumpke here the 1st of April. And even with that, we weren't able to not keep the price going up. Now, the other thing they had, because we told them, you know, we've got residents that want to recycle. They had a program. We all had to participate in it, and it was $10 a month. And you just got a small container. We were hesitant to try to push for that because it's an all or nothing, and we're going from $7.50 to $18. We just didn't feel like we could go all the way to $28 just yet. Now, with that being said, excuse me, the county is working on putting a facility up at Centerton. I know at their last commissioners meeting and council meeting, they've agreed to go ahead and make an offer on some property up there, and I believe the property is just north of the drive-in. So, but for Martinsville itself, we weren't ready to take that jump yet.
When will the skateboarding park be ready for our kids?
Well, we're hoping we can let bids out on that yet this year. There's a process going through, and Mac, shake your head, yes or no, Mac Porter, if I'm right. It's with Homeland Security now to getting the approvals. Once it gets through Homeland Security, then FEMA has to give us the approval because of the floodplain in that area. This makes great sense to use that area because we're not putting any buildings there. We're putting some shelters in, but they're open shelters. So we're hoping to have something yet this year. Now, the other problem is how are we going to fund it? The skate park itself is about $550,000 to $600,000, but the total park design is about $1.8 million. So again, when it comes to budget workshop time here in the summer, we need to figure out where we're going to get the funds for that. But we are pushing forward. I know some of the young citizens that met with Mac and worked on this, maybe getting frustrated because it seems like we're not doing anything, but we've fed all the information to the proper channels. Now we're just waiting to hear from them.
How many sidewalks did you build last year?
2.5 miles is $1 million. We got another $1 million going in now. It'd be another 2.5 miles. One block of sidewalk to take it out on one side and put it back in is Mr. Wallace. Jake, what do you think that is? That's $22,000, $23,000? Depending on the curb, depending on the ADA ramps and everything. So it's not a very cheap thing. So what we've done, we've went around town, we've gone to the schools, we've tried to come out from the schools because we want to make it safety for our students to get there. And then we've drove around town looking at what sidewalks are really busted up. And if you really go and look, I mean, $1 million a year isn't really, we could spend $5 million a year if the council would give it to us. But it's still, it's the old thing. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So if we get into our budget cycle, $1 million a year for sidewalks, and we can keep it up, it's the same way with our paving. We've paved 75% of the streets in Martinsville in 3.5 years. On the paving, it's about an 8-year rotation. So again, sorry, we're done. So it's a rotation there that we're hoping that we can do. But again, we want to put $1 million a year toward that. The other thing we're putting $1 million a year for is lining our sanitary sewers. You know, we have clay tile sewer lines that are 16 to 18 feet below ground that they need to be relined. They need to be fixed. And so we're hoping to put $1 million through that. So that's $3 million out of our budget going for things. You know, the sidewalks in the street, I hope you see and you appreciate. But the sewer lining, you're not going to appreciate that as long as it's working.
What is being built by the street department?
That is a new storage building that we're going to have there. It's 70 feet by 170 to store equipment in.
Okay. What is your favorite part of being mayor?
Talking with you on, it's working with everybody. And I know that we're not going to make everybody happy. And I wish there was a magic wand. And for anybody that puts their name on a ballot, that puts their name out there to run, that takes a lot of courage. And I want to applaud all of you that have done that, because it's easy for keyboard warriors to sit back there and rip us apart when they don't know all of the information. But most citizens, if I get a chance to talk to them, and I hate writing, I'd much rather talk. I can usually, they may not agree, but I've talked them off the ledge. They're not ready to lynch me up, but they understand where we're coming from. And I think that is what I enjoy most, is talking with citizens and trying to help them understand where we're coming from.
I'm saving the best question for last, by the way. What is the thing that you're most proud of about our community? Not of accomplishments, but of the community.
I think it's everybody sitting here. I think it's just the enthusiasm that our city has in being in a small town. And I know I spoke with some of the folks in St. Francis. You know, when I interview somebody, I do it completely wrong. You know, I know you're not supposed to get personal. You're supposed to go down and have a list. But I want to know who's your grandparents? Who are you? Tell me something about you. And I think that is what's great about a small town. We've got a lot of growth coming in. And I know there are some people that were quite upset. You know, they don't want to see us grow. They don't want us to lose the small town atmosphere. But I don't think we will, because we all cherish that so much.
When can I spend the night, Will?
Spring break.
All right.
But I thank everybody, and I'm serious about the ones that put their names out to for an election. And I'm not throwing stones at anyone, okay? But last May, in our primary election, we had less than 16% come out and vote. And I'm sorry, that's pathetic. I mean, do you realize how many men and women died to give us that opportunity? Yep. And we don't do it? Yep. So, and one thing I told senior class the other day, you need to go vote. When you get old enough and you can go pull that ballot, you need to do it. And they've made it so easy. We have early election 4 weeks ahead. Just go out and exercise your right to vote. And one last thing I want to say before I close tonight. I want to thank my wife for being supportive, being my cheerleader, because I tell you what, there are days I come home, I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, but there are days that it's not the greatest. And without her, this wouldn't be worth it. Not that I don't value everybody in here, but without her love and her encouragement, it's not worth it.